allow any coaching or help from the audience. Even if they are about to get a correct answer, if we hear an answer from the audience, we must throw the question out and not give them credit for it. So it will not be helping them, but rather hindering them to try to supply answers.
Tell them what else we throw out in addition to the question.
Frequently. We would like you to stay for about 15 seconds after the show. We will then turn the lights around, take your picture, and you...
Crazy, mixed-up kid, you.
You will also be in our picture.
I'll bet you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is smile. S-M-I-L-E. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
What was I doing down there?
I don't know.
Nothing there, really. Well, here I am again with $3,500 for one of our
Right.
couples. I may go for this one myself, huh? Well, if any of them say the secret word, this duck will fly down and pay him $100. The word tonight is smile. Come here, duck. How is it they didn't get you Thanksgiving? You're getting pretty filthy looking, too, huh? Okay, duck. Back to your nest. George, who's first on the veranda? Is that right, veranda?
I don't believe so.
What is it?
Agenda, I think.
Agenda?
Yeah.
Is that Latin?
I imagine. Well, Groucho, we asked if there were any young married couples present tonight who'd like to
Didn't
be
you
in
go to college?
What?
Didn't you go to college?
Yes.
Didn't you study Latin there?
No, I didn't.
What did you study?
Spanish.
Co-eds?
It's a long while ago.
Spanish co-eds. They're the best kind, I guess. Well, go on. Proceed with this nonsense.
All right, we asked if there were any young married couples present tonight, and just before we went on the air, we selected Mr. and Mrs. Ted Mundy to be on our show, and here they come, folks. Would you please come in and meet Groucho Marx?
Well, welcome, youngsters. Welcome for the show to play the field. Come right in, Jerry, huh? Say the secret word, and you'll take home an extra $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. You're married, huh? Oh, gosh, and I went all the way out there to greet her. What a fool I was, huh? Mr. and Mrs. Ted Mundy, huh? Is that right, Ted? Is it Monday?
That's right.
That's so. It's really Monday, huh? This week certainly flew by in a hurry. I'd give a fortune to know where I was last Saturday and Sunday. Or even Friday. I bet you're sick of those jokes about your name, aren't you, huh?
I hear quite a few of them.
Yeah, you do, huh? What are some of the things people say?
Oh, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Wash Day Monday, and Blue Monday, and Monday, Here Comes Tuesday.
Well, you never see those people again after that.
Try not to.
There used to be a fellow over at a golf club that I belonged to. He came up to me every day for 10 years and says, well, marks them up and marks them down. And he used to go in hysterics each day. I finally had to quit the club. Joined another club where they threw me out. How old are you, Ted?
I'm 25.
Then they used to say, oh, my name is Marx. I'm a lawyer. Have a car. That was from Uncle Tom's Cabin. That was considered pretty hot stuff. That was at another club. I finally resigned from that. What is your first name? Gloria, you say?
My name.
Oh, your name is Gloria. Gloria Monday, huh? Say, you're famous. Have you ever heard of Sick Transit Gloria Monday?
Yes.
Pretty sick of that, too, I bet.
Yeah.
What does that mean, do you know?
It means so goes the world.
Yeah, something like that. Rapid transit or something. In other words, Gloria, you have a very, very pretty name, and I'll just call you Sick Transit for short.
Oh.
That means don't get sick on the streetcar. That's what it means in Latin. In a Latin streetcar. How old are you, Gloria?
24.
24? Well, you don't look it, huh? Where's your hometown?
Glendale.
Glendale? Are the girls all as pretty in Glendale as you are?
Well, I don't know.
You certainly look better than Casey Stengel. Although I doubt whether you could manage the Yankees quite as well as he does. Huh? Where were you born, Ted?
I was born about a mile from Glendale in Los Angeles.
Oh. You're both from Glendale, huh? You're a couple of real travelers, aren't you? Huh? Where do you live now, Ted?
La Cañada.
Well, the same to you. I would say, where do you live?
La Cañada.
La Cañada, huh? Well, let's wait till we get through here. What is La Cañada? That's in Scotland you live?
No, that's about 5 miles from Glendale.
We get around.
You two certainly get around all right. You must spend half your time just taking your passports out of your pocket. What sort of work do you do, Ted?
I have Monday's Pet and Hobby Shop in La Cañada. Best
do?
pet and hobby shop in La
Is
Cañada.
that so? And what does Monday got?
Well,
What sort of pets do you have in this shop?
Oh, I have hamsters, parakeets, tropical fish, goldfish, white rats, turtles.
Don't look at me when you say white. I'm a sort of a dark rat. Huh? A hamster, now, what do you use those for? Huh?
Oh, they make pretty good pets.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
They're like something like little bears or dogs or something?
They look like a little bear, but they're about the size of a little rat.
Looking at me again, aren't you? Huh? Well, I want to ask you a question. I see some show on television where they have monkeys and all kinds of stuff on the show there. Now, do these monkeys have to be kept in a certain temperature in order to keep them alive?
Oh, certain monkeys do. The tropical varieties have to be kept under
What are they?
controlled temperatures.
What kind are they? I mean, orangutans and baboons?
Well, I'm
Gorilla?
not too much of a monkey man myself.
Well, you must have been. You got married, didn't you? Well, as long as we're on the subject of romance, tell us, Gloria, about your first meeting with Ted. Was there anything unusual about it?
No.
Did you go in to buy a gorilla and come out with Ted?
No, we met at the beach.
You met at the beach?
Mm-hmm.
What beach?
Corona Del Mar.
Corona? It's a cigar, isn't it?
Yes, I guess it is.
You met on a cigar, huh? Were you wearing a wrapper at the time?
Yes.
That's a cigar wrapper. Mostly cigarette smokers out there trying to avoid cancer. Now, what do you think of him? What did you think of Ted at first sight?
Well, I thought he was very handsome, and I liked his red hair and his blue eyes and his dimples. And he was good natured, and he was different than the rest. And that's why I liked him.
He was different from the rest? In what manner?
Well, he was just very quiet.
You didn't care what he looked like as long as he shut up, is that it? That's certainly a curious reason for hooking somebody. Was this love at first sight for you, too, you gorilla man, you?
No, I didn't know anything about her.
You were on the beach, you say, and you didn't know anything about her?
No.
What were you wearing at the time, Gloria?
Bathing suit.
And you still didn't know anything about it yet, eh? You just had your mind on those white rats, old boy, didn't you? You remember how Loverboy proposed?
Yes, I do. We stopped at an ice cream cone place, and he got out and got the ice cream cones and came back with the cone, and it had my engagement ring on top of it. And he gave it to me.
You had the ring on the cone?
Mm-hmm. Sitting right in the middle of the
I
ice
had a
cream.
ring the other night from a fellow named Cone, but it wasn't anything like this. This was Harry Cone at Columbia Studio. He warned me not to come over there again. You say he had an engagement ring on the ice cream cone?
Yes.
What flavor was it, do you remember?
I think it's vanilla.
Did you always use vanilla ice cream for your proposals, Ted?
Usually.
What did you do when you saw the ring, Gloria?
Well, I kissed him.
He had his mouth full of ice cream cones?
That's just about it.
Sounds like you were pretty greedy, eh? You not only wanted your ice cream, but apparently you wanted his, too. Well, tell us about your wedding. Was it a big one?
No, it wasn't. We eloped to Santa Barbara.
You eloped?
Yes.
Why Santa Barbara?
Well, I don't know. It just is a nice town, so we eloped there.
You think that has a kind of a romantic aura about it, Santa Barbara?
Yes, I think it's a very beautiful town.
That's why they swim out in the ocean half stewed in the summer. They have their first drinks on the beach at noon, and then they get loaded and they go out swimming. I saw a number of them last summer. How did your parents feel about the elopement?
His parents or mine?
No, yours. Oh, Ted, yours.
Oh, they were sort of disappointed. They were planning on a big wedding.
They were. Well, that's silly. You missed their wedding, didn't you, huh? Some parents are so unreasonable, aren't they? Now, Gloria, were your folks disappointed because you didn't do right by Glendale?
No, they were quite happy. They didn't have to pay for the wedding.
It seems that the bride's parents are always more practical than the groom's. Your dad probably said, well, Ma, we lost a daughter, but we gained a pet shop. And a number of gorillas. Well, Gloria, how's the marriage working out? Do you have any little quarrels now and then?
Well, we don't have too much difficulty. Our biggest argument is handling the household budget, which Ted doesn't think I do very well.
Well, that's the customary attitude of all husbands, Gloria. What does he complain about specifically?
Well, he gives me a certain amount of money, and he thinks I should manage it on this certain amount of money, and I think it's not enough.
Well, Ted, your problem is pretty general. How far off does Gloria get in her budget balancing?
Well, the first week that I started out with this budget, I gave her $20, and I told her to write down everything that she spent. And so at the end of the week...
Did you give her a pencil, too, or was this...
That came out of the
deducted from the $20?
No, that came out of the 20.
Oh.
But I gave her this $20, and I told her to write down everything. At the end of the week, I added it up, and it came to $20.64, and I couldn't figure out where the 64 cents came from.
I couldn't either.
You mean there was someone else?
I wish there had been.
Gloria, there could be. Just say the word, and I'll give you $21 a month. A week.
Oh.
By the way, you say you're both from Glendale?
Yes.
Didn't you know each other in school, Gloria?
Well, no. We didn't know each other too well.
How come?
Well, he was a cheerleader at Hoover, and I was a cheerleader at Glendale, but we never really got together, you know. We just waved at each other across the field.
You were both cheerleaders, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that case, you ought to have a very cheerful married life. Ted, do you still cheer each other up on Blue Mondays?
Well, she still sings the old songs when the Glendale boys swing down the line, and Glendale, we hail you. And
I mean, she waits until the Glendale boys swing down the line before she starts singing? Or is this the title of the song?
No, this is the title of the song.
Oh.
You can't beat those old romantic songs, can you? The old songs are the best songs. Annie Laurie and When Those Glendale Boys Swing Down the Line. Gloria, could we have a little of When Those Glendale Boys Swing Down the Line? I think that would cheer us all up.
Well,
How about it? Just a little of it, huh? I mean, you don't want to get too rusty with this thing. You know, you never know when you have to go back to this school.
Well, it's been 7 years.
Huh?
It's been 7 years.
7 years?
Uh-huh.
Well, do you remember any of it?
Well, I remember a little bit of it.
Well, give us a little bit.
All right.
With motions, too.
Oh. I can't
Did
really
you wear
go
through
through
it. White boots then? And
No,
all
we
the
had short
paraphernalia?
skirts.
Short skirts?
Uh-huh,
Well,
and-
that'll do in a pinch, huh? Well, let's have it, Gloria.
Well, all right. Now, when those Glendale boys swing down the line, we're going to win this game no other time than for the high school that we love so well. We're going to fight, 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 and yell and yell and yell. We're going to touch down, then we'll count the score. We'll circle ends, and then we'll count some more. We're going to roll old Hoover in the side. We're going to roll, roll, roll.
I'd certainly like to be around when you roll Hoover, that's all. Well, you're a nice young couple, and it's certainly been fun talking to you two. Now, let's see how much money you can win. You're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the big money later. Are you ready? Do you know how to play the game?
I
We
think
play the
so.
game? Go away. Stop smirking, fella. You understand the game?
Yes.
Well, okay, then. Well, let's see how much money you can make. You selected food and drink. Your first question will pay you $10. The last question will pay you $100. Now, in between, there's 50, 60, all kinds. You can pick any one you want. Only decide on one answer between you.
20?
$10 one, 50, 70, 90, 100?
20?
$20.
$20.
20, well, that's what you got a week, huh?
Yes.
All right, what is a small cup of black coffee generally taken at the close of a dinner call?
Demi-tasse.
Demi-tasse is right.
Now you have $20.
Now you have $20 that nobody can take away from you but Ted.
He will.
I'll have this marriage on the rocks in no time. Now you're going for a $40 one. All right, which of our states produces more cheese than any other?
Wisconsin.
That's right. That's right.
You've now climbed to $60.
Keep ad-libbing, Fenneman.
You've now climbed to $60. That's the extent of it.
That's Fenneman's idea of ad-libbing.
$60.
How much?
60.
$60, huh? $60. All right.
You have 60.
We're going to
You're going to bet 60.
I don't know. These are basil, hyssop, or hyssop, thyme, and anise. Anisey, I guess. A-N-I-S-E. I rarely get in the kitchen. What are they used for in the kitchen? What are they?
They're spice. Some sort of a spice.
Spice.
Herbs.
Herbs, yeah. Well, which is it?
Guess it's herbs.
Yes, you're right. It's herbs.
You now have $120.
You're not much help in this thing, are you, Ted? All you do is collect the swag at the finish. All right, now what do you want to try?
80? 80, I guess.
80. What do you call haddock that has been cured with the smoke of green wood?
Well, it's fish.
What do you call haddock that has been cured with the smoke of green wood?
Fin and Hattie, is it?
That is right. Fin and Hattie is right.
And you wind up with a grand total of $200.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Thank
Now
you.
you've got 10 weeks to decide on the flower. I'm better when I'm sick. All right, George, who's next on the veranda?
Thomas Jerome O'Brien and Maria Luisa Dominguez were waiting to talk to you, Groucho. And here they come, folks. Would you please come in to meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Thomas Jerome O'Brien and Mary Louisa Dominguez?
That's right.
Hey, Tommy, what part of Ireland are you from?
I'm from Camp Grove, Illinois, Groucho. That's where I was born.
Well, that's right near County Cork. Are you married?
Yes, I am, Groucho.
How long have you been married?
I've been married 19 years.
Mary Louisa Dominguez, that's you. What part of Ireland are you from?
I'm from Rome, Italy.
Really? Well, when you were in Rome, did you do as the Romans do?
Oh, I suppose so.
What do the Romans do?
I guess they do everything that everybody else does. They work, they sleep, they eat, they love.
Then there actually is nothing to that old saying, eh? When in Rome, do as the Romans, all roads lead to Rome?
Oh, yes, all roads lead to Rome.
Suppose you just want to go to Glendale.
Well, I go through Glendale and then to Rome.
Well, it's right on the way. Maria Louisa. By the way, what shall I call you? Maria or
Marisa.
Louisa?
Everybody calls me Marisa.
Marisa, huh?
Marisa.
Marisa. Where does that come from? Camp Grove, Illinois? How did
No.
you get Marisa?
Maria Luisa, you put them together.
Oh, see. That sounds like fun, huh? But before I put Maria and Louisa together, tell me one thing. Are you married?
Oh, yes.
Well, in that case, it's no dice. While I'm busy putting you together, your husband is just as busy taking me apart. Marisa, when did you meet your husband? Was he in Rome at the time?
Yes, he was. He was with the Allied Commission in Rome.
He was with the Light Commission?
The Allied Commission in
the
Rome.
Allied Commission.
The Allied Commission in Rome,
You
yes.
say he was in Rome when he met you?
Yes, he was. He was a GI.
GI at the time?
Corporal.
Corporal GI. Well, apparently he wasn't doing as the Romans do. He was just doing as the GIs do. Could you tell us something about your courtship? How did this American pursue his campaign, or as we say in this country, how did he press his suit?
Hoo-hoo.
What?
I say, hoo-hoo.
This is an Italian Ketzel. What do you mean, hoo-hoo? Are we coming to a tunnel? What has hoo-hoo got to do with the way your husband courted you?
Well,
Did you marry an owl?
Actually, Groucho, we had a little trouble when he was courting me because he used to come to our home and because Mom liked to have some of the boys around for a home-cooked meal. You know, they were so far away from home and she felt for them. But then, when she realized that my husband was coming around not actually for a home-cooked meal at all, well, she didn't like it anymore.
He was coming around for a meal, but not necessarily home-cooked.
So she kind of got a little sore about it, and she didn't want him around anymore. And actually, she threatened, well, she didn't want me to actually go so far away from home. And so she actually threatened him to...
She threatened him?
She threatened him to...
With what, the Italian army?
to throw him out of the house.
Oh. Well, how old were you at the time?
22.
And were you, did you have other sisters?
I have a sister, yes.
And was she living home then?
Oh, yes.
She didn't want any of you to leave the house, is that it?
Well, you know.
No, I don't know.
Aren't you a father?
Yes, but I'm not a mother.
Well, actually, she didn't want us to get married and for me to go so far away, so she actually didn't even permitted us to have any dates or anything like that. Actually, when we went out on dates sometime, he managed to go out on dates, but Mother was always in the middle. We would go to theater, movies, operas, but Mother in the middle.
How'd you ever get married?
Well, I actually was in love with my husband, and when my mother realized...
Your mother was in love with your husband?
No, I say I was in love with my husband, and when my mother realized...
Where was your father while all this was going on?
Oh, he was around.
Well, the four of you went out in the evening, huh?
Oh, yes, sometimes the five of us,
The
my
five of
sisters,
us,
too. You know, as I say, Nita, you don't have dates like the girls have here in the United States. Uh-huh. And,
So girls don't go out with boys in Italy?
well, I suppose now they do more, but not during the war or before the war. They didn't used to go out with boys alone, you know. As I say, chaperone all the time.
Take a dog with them or something? Bloodhounds? Did you ever see any of my pictures in Italy?
It's a matter of fact, I did. I saw, let's see now if I remember it actually in Italian. One was Una notte all'opera, which I think
Night at the Opera.
That's right.
Yeah.
And another one
was this in Italian over there?
Yeah, in fact, when I first came here,
was I
you know...
speaking Italian in this picture?
Yes.
That's
in fact,
funny. I don't know a word of it either.
I expected you to speak Italian. I don't know why. Maybe because over there, see, we have what they call dubbing. You know, they put...
Well, I've dubbed many a picture over here. Dubbed it so that they could hardly release it.
They actually put words in your mouth.
Yes, they do. I wish they'd remove some of them, too. Well, Mr. O'Brien, let's get back to you. What sort of work do you do?
Well, Groucho, I work for the American Totalizator Company.
Well, congratulations. Now, I'm glad to hear that. It's an honor to have you here. Now, what are you talking about?
Well, the American Totalizator Company is the company that has all the electrical betting equipment, all the major racetracks throughout the country.
Is that the thing that went Majolo in Las Vegas not long ago?
No, Groucho, that's not our totalizator.
But what does your totalizator do at a racetrack? Is it run up and down the track? Is that the machine that starches all the shirts the customers lose?
No.
Well, what is it?
I'm afraid not. Well, for instance, you might say if you went up to the window at a racetrack and put
I wouldn't go up unless there was a dog in the window.
Well, you put your $2 down, or your 5 or 10 or 50 or 100, and
you were right the first time.
Yeah. And we'll say
you can make that $1 if you want to. My speed.
We'll say the mutual clerk takes your money, presses a button down, which sends an electrical impulse up to what we call our tote room, our totalizator room upstairs. That's where all of our equipment is.
What button does he press? I don't understand.
Well, which horse would you like to bet on?
Oh.
That's the button. See, there's 12 buttons on the machine.
Each horse has his own button?
Yes, that's right. He presses this button down. The electrical impulse says...
How old are these horses?
Room. It's according to what kind of a race it is. If it's an old horse race or a young horse race, maybe 2-year-old racing, or maybe
on the turf. Do they have the same kind of buttons for the old horses?
I don't know about that. I don't know if they're the same kind of buttons or not, but the buttons I refer to on the machine, I think...
well, I don't want to be buttoned in, but I just wanted to know what buttons you use.
Well, anyway, we have this electrical impulse up to the tote room now, and that's gone up there and is collected by what we call a collector, goes into an adding machine, and in which there's a series of relays, electrical relays and contacts and so on, and this impulse then goes back to the ticket machine, and at that time your ticket issues to you, and this all takes place in about 1/40th of a second.
In other words, the money goes in and never comes back. That's what you're trying to say.
Well, in a way, yes.
Do these machines ever make mistakes?
Groucho, you know, our slogan is the American totalizator is your mark of accuracy.
Well, never mind your slogan. Answer my question. Do these machines ever make mistakes?
Well, I wouldn't say mistakes. I might quote one instance up in Seattle, Washington. I think it was Long Acres Racetrack up there, where the train went by close by, I think 50 feet or so, and jarred a bet into the adding machine and actually made a long shot of favorite. That was, of course...
Sounds like a pretty smart locomotive.
That's not an error. I mean, that's...
Next time I go to the racetrack, I'll bet on the Super Chief. Now, Marisa, by the way, how do you like living in California?
Groucho, I love it. I love everything. Smog, fog, rain, everything about California. And I mean it. I really mean it. I love it.
How do you feel about Smays?
That comes from the little place called New York?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we're importing it now. Did you come right to California from Italy?
No,
we live... Glendale first.
We lived 2 years in Texas.
In Texas?
Mm-hmm.
That's really living. How'd you like it there? Did you discover everything in Texas is bigger than anywhere else?
But that's for sure. Everything is bigger there. The ants are bigger, the roaches are bigger, the mosquitoes are bigger.
Well, I feel sorry for Italy. First they have war with Yugoslavia, now they have war with Texas. Well, I don't agree with you, Marisa. I think Texas is a wonderful place. Even if they did throw me in jail for playing euchre on Sunday in Nacogdoches. That's true. Marisa, do you have any hobbies now that you're a Californian? Everybody out here has a hobby, you know.
Hobby?
What is your hobby?
How can you have a hobby when you're a housewife here? You have the house to take care of, the children to take care of, the husband, mow the lawn, wash the clothes, iron, hose down the lawn, kill the caterpillar in the flowers. How do you have time for a hobby?
What does your husband do?
He works for Technoelectric in Long Beach.
Oh, and you do everything around the house?
Oh, yes.
How much does he give you an allowance every week?
He gives me everything he makes.
Well, there's a certain Scrooge around here from Glendale, and if he makes a pass at you, Marisa, avoid him as you would the plague. Not only that, he's liable to pick your pocket. Do you have any hobbies, Tommy?
Well, Groucho, I spend a lot of time with the Elks.
Really? Has any hunter ever wanted you for a hat rack?
No, it's not that kind of elk.
Well, do you have an official capacity with the Elks?
Well, not exactly. I was chairman of the picnic committee in Pasadena this year, and I've worked a lot with not a lot, I worked a little with the cerebral palsy and some of their benefits for crippled children, and I might say at this time that the Elks are a great charitable organization. Charity is the foundation of the Elks Lodge, and it's... and then
that's the horn of plenty, I guess.
Yes.
What else do you do for the Elks?
Well, I've made a few speeches around Groucho. I've talked in some of the other lodges, and also in the Pasadena Lodge. The exalted ruler there has asked me to. Sometimes they call him the exhausted rooster, but I mean he's the exalted ruler.
The exhausted rooster, they call him?
The exalted ruler.
I don't hear very well. My glasses.
He has me make a few speeches around the lodge. A fellow named Gordon.
I would stick to exhausted rooster if I were you. I think you got something there. Well, could you make a little speech for us here? I'd like to see how good you are. You can pick any subject you want, and remember, brevity is the soul of wit. Now go ahead and get hot.
Well, I don't know just what to talk. I made a little speech in Azusa a few weeks ago.
In a zoo?
Azusa.
Azusa. That's a cracker, isn't it?
No, that's a little town up here past Monrovia.
Oh.
I think their slogan is everything from A to Z in USA.
And is this the branch of the Elks that you belong to?
No, I belong to the Pasadena branch.
Oh, that's a pretty ritzy group of Elks, huh?
Oh, yes.
I guess the ordinary elk has 2 horns. They have 4 there in Pasadena.
Yes, very first class. But I made a speech up there I talked on smog.
On smog?
Yes.
Smog or on smog?
No, it was on smog. The subject was smog.
Oh, well, that's certainly a subject that everybody's interested in today. It's a real smart subject, too, especially around the eyes. Could you give us a little of it?
Well, I told the people up there that, of course, smog, as you know, is a very controversial question, especially around this part of the country. And
you think people are still debating whether there is smog here or not?
Well, yes,
I think it's pretty generally conceded that we have smog out here.
Yeah, you're probably correct there. But
I don't know how it is in Pasadena, but we have plenty of smog here.
Well,
you couldn't see an elk in this town if he was to walk along the street.
Well, you know, smog, in most cases, some of the people, especially some of the big shots, or I shouldn't say big shots, the councilmen, different people in Los Angeles have said that smog is something like an irritation, something incinerators or possibly from car exhaust. My theory is it's more of a rarefied condition that you can't, be back going on the smog, because it's not always that you can get this with in the air. It's a sort of a eye filling thing. I don't know how to. It's smog, the smudges. It's not something that you can say put in your hand. It's a smog. It's not a smudge. It's a kind of back that you can't really put it together. I think that it's a rarefied condition. Would you like?
No, I've had enough.
Yeah. It's really
I think you ought to run for something after a speech like that. I suggest that you run to the nearest exit. That speech was pretty near as thick as the smog, you know. Well, enough of this smoggy conversation. Let's play You Bet Your Life, shall we? Did you have this much fun in Italy, Marisa?
No, Groucho. This can never happen in any other country but the United States.
You mean it can't have any
wonderful program like this with wonderful sponsor like this Soto?
Yeah. There used to be
Who got the money over there?
They don't have any money over there?
No,
Well, they have our money over there. All right, now the couple that wins the most money gets the chance at the big question later. Is that clear? You understand how you play this? Let's see how you do. You know, the first question is the easiest one, and the last question is the hardest. And the first one is $10, and then they go 10, 20, 30, 40. Now, you can pick any one you want, but decide on one between you. You talk it over with the smog expert over here.
Shall we try the $70?
Two-footed elk here.
Would you like to?
Sure.
Fine.
$70?
$70.
$70. Who played the role of Ashley Wilkes in the picture Gone with the Wind?
That was Howard.
Leslie Howard.
Leslie Howard.
Leslie Howard is right.
We start off with $70.
I neglected to say that this was a movie quiz. I don't know whether you remember that. So all these questions are about the movies. Now, which one do you want?
$80. That's all right with you. 80.
In 1948, an actress won an Academy Award without uttering a sound. What is her name?
Gene Wyman. Gene Wyman for Johnny Belinda.
That's right. I thought you came from Italy.
We have your movies in Italy. I told you. I even saw you.
And you now have $150.
What do you mean you even saw me?
No, I didn't. In fact, the I Fratelli Marx are almost the standard name to mean something that makes you laugh. Fratelli Marx.
You've lost it, kid. I'm gone over the hill. You know? Nothing you can do will ever erase what you said before. And if you win any more money, it'll be a miracle. $90, huh? What do the initials RKO stand for?
Radio Keith Orton.
That's right.
Radio Keith Orton.
That's right. You have that in Italy, too, huh?
You now have $240.
All right, now which one do you want?
The big one.
The big
right?
one, the $100.
All right.
All right, who was the original Charlie Chan in the movies?
Oh.
Talk it over.
I don't know. I don't think it was Warner Roland.
Who?
I don't think it was Warner Roland. Warner Roland was the second one.
See, Sidney Oler or Warner Roland? Which one?
Take a stab.
Okay, you guess.
Sidney Oler?
Warner Roland? Warner
Warner
Roland. Warner Roland. I'll go for a Warner Roland.
Warner Roland is right.
And you've gone all the way. You have $340.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto
Thank you
Plymouth
very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, John. They got away with murder on that last one. They had 2 extras. Luckily, I'm in a generous mood tonight. All right, Fenneman, who's next?
Well, Groucho, we heard about a most unusual lady who...
Warner Tolan, he said. What did you say?
I said we heard about a most unusual lady who lives a few blocks
Well,
here.
give her my phone number, will you?
Well, you'll meet her in just a moment if you'll let me bring her out.
And I'll give her your phone number.
As I was saying, I heard about this most unusual lady who lives a few blocks from NBC here in Hollywood, and we asked her if she'd like to be on the show, and she said yes. And so in just a moment you'll meet Mary Ellen McDonald. And her partner is a salesman. He's Mr. Marvin Hannon. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, welcome, kids, with the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll... Welcome, kids, with the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Mary Ellen McDonald and Marvin Hannon, huh? Do you mind if I call you Mary Ellen?
Not at all.
Good. Well, you can call me Montgomery Ward. Do you mind if I try to guess your age, Mary?
Go
I have
on.
a feeling you're a little older than a schoolgirl.
Maybe.
Shall I try?
Yes, you shall.
Are you 50?
No.
I'll try 60. How's that? Another guess? 70?
You're getting warmer.
How about 80?
Warmer?
I'm afraid to go any higher. How old are you, Mary?
96.
96? Well, you certainly don't look it.
Thank you.
Well, it's nice of you to visit us, Mary, and I'd like to make you comfortable. Would you like a chair?
Oh, not necessarily. Wouldn't mind.
How about you, Marvin? Would you like a chair?
I think a chair would be fine.
What's that?
I think a chair would be fine.
George Fenneman, will you bring Mr. Hannon a chair? Bring him a chair. And while you're at it, bring another one for Mary. Now, you think you'll be all right with this?
Yeah, if I don't fall off, I'm going to
Just a moment.
We want you to be comfortable, you know. Wouldn't you like to take your coat off?
You're wonderful. No, I'll be holding it on.
Well, take your shoes off, huh?
Sit down there.
Mary, how old did you say you were?
96.
96, huh?
Would you like to sit down now?
Sit down, Mary.
You're
Make
right.
yourself at home, huh? Take your shoes off.
I think we're going to have to get you a microphone to hold in your hand here, maybe, huh?
Make him comfortable, too. That's the important thing. Huh? We don't want him to faint up here or anything. Now, you okay, Mary?
Okay.
Now, could you tell us who was president when you were 20 years old?
Oh, I think it must have been Cleveland.
Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
Grover Cleveland, huh?
Grover Cleveland.
Where were you born, Mary?
Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island. Is that one of the 1,000 islands?
No.
Now, where is Prince Edward Island?
Prince Edward Island. And the Gulf of St. Lawrence.
In the Gulf of St. Lawrence, eh? Well, that's the 1,000 islands are up there, aren't they?
Well, they're not exactly.
Well, not precisely, but approximately.
Approximately.
They're all in that same St. Lawrence waterway.
Yes, they
Are you comfortable, Marvin?
Very comfortable, thanks. Just fine.
We can get you an air pillow, you know, if you'd like one to sit on.
I'll open this up. Mr. Long.
Yes. Where are you from, Marvin?
Well, I've spent 21 years in Michigan and 21 years in Texas. Now I'm getting started on my third 21 years out here in California.
What sort of work do you do, Marvin?
I'm an educational counselor for the Grolier Society.
Grolier Society? I never heard of that. What does the Grolier Society do?
That's a book publishing house.
Well, what do you do for this outfit?
Oh, I call on homes and demonstrate our merchandise.
I thought you said you were an educational counselor. Actually, you're a book salesman, am I? What a sneaky way to stick your foot in the door. How circuitous can you get, huh? What's all this about an educational counselor?
Well, Groucho, it's part of my job to...
Hoodwink the public?
to demonstrate our books and to organize children's libraries.
Are these books you recommend the same ones you sell from house to house?
Oh, yes.
You don't do any switches, huh?
No switches.
What's the name of this book?
The Book of Knowledge.
Oh, that's a very famous, well-known book. When my son was small, he used to have a set of those books. I learned a lot from them. I haven't read your book. I imagine it's been revised considerably in the last 20 years.
Yes.
I saw the movie, Have you read this book yourself?
Oh, yes.
Recently?
Oh, yes.
All of it?
All 20 volumes.
Must be pretty smart, huh? Let me test you. My little girl's always asking questions. I have a little one, 7. And I don't know the answers to most of the questions she asks me. As she gets increasingly older, I'll know less of the answers. For example, how can a fly walk on the ceiling? Why doesn't he fall off and break his neck?
Well, Groucho,
That must be in the book.
Physiological...
Did you look on the flyleaf for this?
Shall we say the fly's anatomy is just a bit different than yours and mine? I can't be exactly specific about it.
Well, you're certainly ambiguous. Well, I'll get back to you in a minute. I want some time to think of more questions. I want to talk to Mary over here. Do you know how a fly can walk on the ceiling without falling off, Mary?
Well, they have suctions on their feet.
You hear that?
Even she's read our Book of Knowledge.
Yes, she has. What sort of work does your husband do, Mary, or is he retired?
I haven't got a husband.
You haven't got a husband?
No.
An attractive kid like you, and you haven't got a husband?
It's true.
Have you ever been married?
No.
Mary, I don't understand this. You mean you're a spinster?
I'm a spinster.
Well, you're not giving up, are you?
Oh, I think so.
I think you're making a grave mistake. Well, how is it you never married, Mary, or do you think I'm being too nosy?
I think you're being a little bit nosy. I don't mind telling you.
Well, that's the way I make my living, Mary. I have the soul of a hotel detective. Now, how is it you never married, Mary?
Well,
I'm sure you had many opportunities. Look at that gleam in her
I'll tell
eye.
you. I was reared with 3 bachelor uncles, and I never had a chance to talk to the boys alone. There was always an uncle there. And the boy I liked the best went west to make his fortune and didn't come back.
Did he make his fortune?
I don't know.
Well, he lost one when he lost you, man. That's about as close as you came to matrimony?
That's close, mm-hmm.
There's one bounder that went west and never came back, huh?
Never come back.
Well, you have an exceptionally spry spirit for a young lady like you, Mary. Do you have any recipe for attaining a ripe old age like 96?
Not any, unless it's hereditary. Some might
I think that's a contributory factor, but I think there are other elements involved.
I don't know.
Philosophical attitude towards life? Take things easy in your stride?
Oh, I didn't take things so very easy. I was raised on a farm, did spinning and weaving and sewing and so on.
You led a sort of a pastoral existence, huh?
I guess so.
You know, we had a man on the show once. I think he was 101. You're only a kid alongside of this fella. And he said something. This was a couple of years ago, and I've never forgotten it. I asked him the same question. I said, what do you attribute longevity and your spirit and the way you look and everything, attitude towards life? He said, I'll tell you, Mr. Marks. He says, when you get up in the morning, you have 2 chances. You can either be happy or you can be unhappy. You make your own choice. And that's a wonderful philosophy. I can't remember it every morning, but some mornings I do. Some mornings I get up and kick the cat as soon as I get out of bed. Now, Marvin, tell us something about the Book of Knowledge. For example, how much is it?
$200.
$200? I don't blame you for buttoning your coat. How much does this weigh?
About 70 pounds.
70 pounds, $200? That's about 58, 39. That's just $3, huh? That's about $3 a pound, huh?
There you are.
Why, you can buy gumdrops for 50 cents a pound. That Awful McFarlane. Isn't that his name, Awful McFarlane?
Awful McFarlane.
Candy is good, though.
Good.
If we don't get gumdrops next week, there's going to be hell to pay around here.
Awful Fresh McFarlane.
Awful Fresh McFarlane.
Awful Fresh. Let's get his name right.
Well, who buys these books, incidentally? Are they for anybody in particular?
Well, they're for everyone, Groucho. They certainly help students in school.
How can 70 pounds of books help a student?
Well, you'd be surprised.
No girl in the class could get a boy to carry her books home for him.
You've got a point there.
Yes. It's right on the top of my head.
These are home sets.
How do they help a student?
All youngsters, by the time they reach about 6th or 7th grade now, require some piece of reference material at home, and this is tailored especially for children. Actually, you don't have to wait till your 6th or 7th grade. You can read to children much smaller than that. We have material suitable for preschool age. The Book of Knowledge covers just about everything from nursery rhymes through high school.
Don't you think that's awfully expensive, $200?
It's a very good investment in the future.
It is. Hasn't helped me any. Now, Mary Ellen, back to you again. What do you do for entertainment these days? Do you watch television?
I do.
You do? Do you like television?
Oh, very much, especially you, don't you, when I watching it, see you on the television.
You watch me every week?
Oh, yes.
Did you see me dance a few weeks on the Arthur Murray
I
show?
did.
Huh? Did you like the way I shook the light fantastic?
I did.
Were you wishing you were up there dancing with me?
Well, it's a long time. I was very fond of dancing, but that's quite a long time ago.
Not the way I dance. My dancing is the equivalent of around 1850. What else do you like besides television? Movies?
I like the movies.
You go to the movies?
Mm-hmm.
Do you watch movies on television?
No.
You go out to the movies?
I watch them on the...
Don't tell me you go to the drive-in.
Yes, the drive-in.
Why, you rascal, you. Marvin, let that be a lesson to you, huh? Mary Ellen knows a lot more than you do, and she didn't get her learning out of a book, either. By the way, Mary Ellen, I'm curious. When was the last time you got kissed by a dashing young bachelor?
Well?
I don't mean your three uncles.
What do you mean? A cousin?
No, I wouldn't regard that as kissing, getting kissed by a cousin. When was the last time you got kissed?
Oh.
Not including relatives.
Oh, maybe about 65 years ago.
65 years ago?
About that, yes.
Well, I'm going to break a 65-year-old record. Marvin, you stick to your book of knowledge. Nothing will ever replace the Mary Ellens in my library. Well, it's been an experience talking to you two, and I'd like to continue, but now it's time to play You Bet Your Life for a lot of money. And we hope you win a lot, Mary. Now, here's the quiz. You understand the quiz, Marvin, huh? This is the acid test of your book of knowledge, you know. If you don't make good here tonight, you'll have to get fired tomorrow.
There's a very good chance.
Now, let's see how much money you can make. You took a general information quiz. You select a general information quiz. How much money? You can bet a $10 question, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 100. They get increasingly difficult. What do you think?
Just the same as you.
All right, well, let's try a $40.
Mary's going to string along with you.
All right, $40.
For $40, what great passenger ship was lost on her maiden voyage when she struck an iceberg?
The
Titanic.
Titanic.
The Titanic is right.
You now have $40.
Now, which one do you want?
That's right, $50.
All right.
$50. What cabinet member is in charge of collecting the income tax?
Secretary of what?
And bad cess to him, too. That's Irish.
Secretary of the Interior. Is it Dulles?
No.
It isn't his
You want to know just the cabinet post, is that right? Oh, we'll say the Secretary of the Interior.
No.
Treasury. Right.
Well, you still have your $40.
All right, you still have the 40. Now, which one do you want?
Let's try $30. Maybe we went the wrong way.
Maybe so.
Or try 30.
Share 30. What do you call a ship's journal or diary?
A log.
A log is right.
You now have $70.
Now, which one are you going to go for?
We better go for 60, don't you think?
I think so.
I think
60. That's a good round figure. According to the Bible, who wore the coat of many colors?
Joseph.
Joseph is right, Mary.
And you wind up with a grand total of $130.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
And that means, ladies and gentlemen, that Mrs. Dominguez and Mr. O'Brien with $340 in just 1 minute get the chance of the DeSoto Plymouth $3,500 question.
Tried to make a date with her, but it was no dice. Couldn't give me a phone number.
And here's the winning couple, Groucho. Mrs. Dominguez and Mr. O'Brien all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $3,500 question.
I didn't hear. Well, here we are, back in Italy. with an Italian elk. All right, here we go for $3,500. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer, and think carefully, please, and no help from the audience. Here it is. For $3,500, I want you to tell me the name of King Arthur's famous sword, the one he withdrew from a block of stone in order to prove his right to the crown.
Oh,
come on. What is it?
Excalibur.
Excalibur is right. How did you know that, huh? I thought you came from Italy a short time ago, huh?
Shall I tell you the truth?
Yes.
They have a British movie running on television around this time that talks about Excalibur. It's a very, very good movie, a comic one. And it's about this soldier that he thinks as far as Excalibur.
Well, don't give us the whole plot, but it proves that movies are your best entertainment. Well, that's right. You win $3,500. What are you going to do with all that money?
Groucho, I'll tell you.
There's a very fine automobile, the new automatic. We're just about covered.
You mean the sponsor wants them back?
Sponsor wants nothing back.
No, Groucho, seriously.
He would listen, I was never more in earnest in my life.
No, I have a little boy, Groucho, 6
I don't
and a
care
half.
how many children you've got. Go out and buy a DeSoto. What are you going to do with this?
I have a little boy, 6 and a half years old, and he needs a little operation.
Oh.
You can imagine if this money will come handy.
Well, I hope this completely cures him, and I'm sure it'll
be okay, isn't it? Oh, yes.
Give him my love. Congratulations on the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. From coast to coast, you bet your life.
Thank you very much.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember that the dealers who sell the outstanding 1954 DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission also have on display the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field. DeSoto, Plymouth. Two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the DeSoto Automatic.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Pay heed to these walking rules. Obey signals, cross at the corner, look before crossing. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world.
Who didn't, if you'll send me $12 in cash just to defray the cost of mailing, I'll send you each a life-size photograph of the Bank of America. Good night, all.
Wait a minute.
Well, Lindy, let's get back to you. This is the holiday season, you know, and I just wondered what we could do to get into a Christmassy mood.
Cut.
Hmm?
For a test. All right. Still sound, please.
What other schweinerei have you got lined up here?
Oh, Christ. No. Now. All right, radio on. Read it.